Have you ever sat in silence and still felt overwhelmed by noise? Not just sounds, but distractions, doubts, deadlines. The world is loud, but God often speaks in whispers. We live in a world of constant sound. Phones buzz, screens flash, voices pull us in every direction. But in the midst of all this noise, we wonder, where's God's voice? The truth is, He's still speaking. We've just forgotten how to listen. Think of the prophet Elijah. He didn't hear God in the wind, or the earthquake, or the fire. No. The voice came in a gentle whisper. God wasn't absent in the silence. He was waiting. Maybe you've been praying, but heaven feels quiet. You've begged for direction, but nothing seems clear. Be assured, silence does not mean God is absent. Sometimes silence is the invitation to slow down and lean in. Jesus, even as the Son of God, often withdrew to lonely places to pray. In the middle of ministry, surrounded by people, he still made time for quiet. Why? Because in solitude, the soul breathes. In stillness, our spiritual ears open. God doesn't compete with the chaos. He invites you to step out of it. Not forever, but just long enough to remember. You're not just a voice in the crowd. You are His child, and your Father still speaks. So how do you hear God's voice? Start with His word. The Bible is more than a book. It's a living voice. His voice, speaking today. Open it and don't rush. Read slowly. Ask, God, what are you saying to me right now? Then, take time to pray, but not just to talk. Listen. Don't be afraid of silence. That quiet may hold the very answer you've been searching for. God often whispers, not because He's distant, but because He's close. In 1 Samuel 3, God called to Samuel by name 3 times, but Samuel didn't recognize His voice until he was quiet and ready. Then Samuel said, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." What if today that became your prayer too? You don't need to be a prophet. You don't need a sign in the sky. You just need a heart that's listening and a life that's willing to slow down. God is not silent. He's waiting for the world to quiet so your heart can hear Him again. So today, turn off the noise. Open His word. Sit in the silence and say, "Speak, Lord, I'm listening." Because in the stillness, grace speaks, and God's voice is always worth hearing. If you're ready to hear His voice today, comment below, "Speak, Lord, I'm listening."